Your attention, please. And now, on with the show.
Coming to you from quarantined New York, it's Unger the Radar, starring Randy Unger. Brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Tonight, Randy will be reviewing the new dramas The Historian and Goldie with special guest critics Matt Roren and Dave Wexler. And now, here's your host, Randy Unger.
Hey guys, welcome to Unger the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger, where we talk all things film. And right now I have with me a wonderful panel of guest critics. No strangers to the show. We've got Mr. Matt Roren. Hello, welcome back.
Hello, good to be here.
And Dave Wexler. It's been a few weeks. Welcome.
A couple weeks. Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yeah. So guys, today it's all over the news, and it's touched our hearts in many ways. It's very sad that we lost Carl Reiner today, a wonderful comedian and actor whose career has spanned decades. And you might know him best from the Dick Van Dyke Show. He's a director of countless films, some of which starred Steve Martin. He was also a lifetime friend of Mel Brooks, and he is the father of actor-director Rob Reiner, who's also responsible for a number of great films. So I just wanted to take a moment or two to just, remember him, his legacy, and see if you guys were, impacted by his work, and if so, what were some of your favorite movies or TV moments? Matt.
Oh, well, it's from his work with Mel Brooks, their comedy routines, hearing those, because I was a huge Mel Brooks fan. That was like my first really knowing who Carl Reiner was, even though I had already seen and loved The Jerk and Man with Two Brains and Summer School. Those were key films when I was growing up.
Summer Rental.
Summer Rental, yeah.
Love that one.
Exactly. And then, the lesser known Steve Martin, All of Me. He did also Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. He did a lot of great films, but Dick Van Dyke Show is still one of my all-time favorite TV shows. It's just so funny, and it holds up. It still holds up.
Nice. Dave, were you affected by this news?
It was certainly, I want to say shocking, but, it's surprising in the sense that, none of us saw it coming. But, he lived, I saw it to 98.
Yeah. Whole life.
It's funny, you look at his IMDb page, which I have up here, and, in terms of the four that come up, you got the Ocean's 11 and 13, but then you have the Dick Van Dyke Show and The Jerk, which covers 5 decades worth of time. Just to have a career that lasted that long and to have produced and directed and acted in and written so many amazing things, just, is a credit to his talent and how strong a career he had.
Yeah, that's
memorable.
It really is a testament to a full life, dedication, passion. It's a really wonderful story of his life. And I actually saw in the news today, they had a quick moment where he went on, even during COVID, he was talking to Mel Brooks through video conferencing. And it was just hilarious watching them, these two guys in their 90s trying to navigate technology. So it was really cute.
And I love that, up to his dying day, they hung out and watched Jeopardy together. That was their thing. The two, legends, comedic legends. The fact that, and they're also great friends with Norman Lear and Dick Van Dyke, who it's a dream team of old comedian dudes. I got to meet Norman Lear a couple years ago. He was at the cinema, and it was just that guy's behind just changing the face of television. You know, All in the Family, Jeffersons, One Day at a Time. Like, it's just like insane. Like, he introduced like everything to like, you know, realism to sitcoms.
Nice. Well put, sir. And yeah, I mean, and his family is honoring him. You know, Rob Reiner has tweeted. Obviously, other notable celebrities are chiming in, paying their respects. And yeah, just again, 98 years old. That's impressive. And he left behind a legacy. So rest in peace, sir. Yeah. All right. So I think we should get into our pandemic picks for this week. Just curious, Dave, what have you been watching, binging? What's on your radar?
Let's see. I've actually been getting back into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which has its last season on TV right now. I'm like 2 or 3 episodes behind, I think, now, but I was very glad to find it back. You know, it's funny. I moved recently back in February and kind of cut the cord as part of the moving process, and I ended up getting YouTube TV. And what I love about that is that it kind of, you know, whenever you set to record, it records it forever and will never, you know, stop recording or delete it until you tell it to. So there have been stretches where I've just forgotten to open up, you know, YouTube TV for a while because I'm more into movies anyway. And I'm like, oh, hey, I've got all these shows to watch. This is not, you know, Rick and Morty was back on, and I watched all those, and they're always super fun.
Nice.
And it's been a lot of kind of retreads in a good way recently. Like, you know, Avatar: The Last Airbender ended up on Netflix again, and I just watched the whole thing in about 5 days, and I was like, I kind of want to just watch it again because it's one of my favorite shows of all time. And,
that is a card.
Yeah,
that's anime, right? I haven't gotten into it yet.
It's interesting. It's an American produced kind of, I want to say almost tribute to anime. It's kind of done in anime style, but it was produced by Nickelodeon in I think early 2000s, I want to say, maybe even earlier than that, late 90s. I certainly wasn't a kid when it was originally on. I didn't catch it till its first run on Netflix a bunch of years ago after hearing just amazing things about it forever. And it's just, you know, it's amazing how it appeals to kids and adults. It's very, very well written. Some of the best writing I've ever seen on television, and I just can't stop watching it.
And those production values probably don't transfer over to the M. Night Shyamalan film.
No, that was
total crap.
And that didn't exist. So what's that, Randy? I have no idea what you're talking about there.
What?
But I did recently learn that Netflix is making a live-action TV show adaptation. So after the M. Night Shyamalan movie, a lot of fans are like, "Oh God, please don't screw it up! Please don't screw it up." So we'll see what comes of that. But at least interesting news.
Well, we'll see what happens with that live-action series. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to get into the animated series for sure.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Everyone says it's great, fantastic, and
also, speaking of Netflix, if you haven't seen The Dragon Prince yet, it's made by the same folks. So it's got very similar vibes to Avatar. So if you've seen that at all, it's very similar in style and feel.
Okay.
Also, pretty good show. Yeah.
Matt, have you shown animation at the cafe, or is it just live action?
I haven't really done that much anime. To be honest, I'm not like a huge anime fan. I mean, I like a lot of the Studio Ghibli stuff, but beyond that, I'm not really as well versed in it. Like I still haven't watched Avatar. That's like on my list of things to check out. It's nice that it's back on Netflix, so hopefully sooner than later. But I mean, we've done a couple animated films. We did. I mean, obviously, like they're all kind of like niche because it's like I did Yellow Submarine, Beatles movie. I did Fantastic Mr. Fox, the Wes Anderson film. I feel like I've done at least one more, but I can't think. I mean, we did Rock and Rule recently for the live stream. We did that.
Did you do The Secret of the Nim? Why do I think you did that?
Which one?
The Secret of the Nim?
No, I haven't done that yet, actually.
For me, that feels like your kind of movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love like all those Don Bluth films a lot. I mean, that, American Tail, Rockadoodle.
Oh, my God. Name Before Time.
Yeah, Land Before Time. Yeah.
One of the many great, rare Spielberg-Lucas collaborations.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Matt, what have you been watching this week? Are you still the Disney stuff?
Oh yeah, still plowing through Disney. I'm 1969 right now. I just finished
That's
a
it?
good chunk, which is nice because it's the Kurt Russell years.
Oh,
I'm starting to get into a lot of the young Kurt Russell films.
nice.
Watched a couple of them so far, like the one and only original family string band, which is like a super. It's all about politics, which is crazy. Like the movie could have been called "Fuck You Republicans," but it's about like this family band. The grandfather is like a diehard fucking Democrat, and he's like writing songs for Grover Cleveland's campaign, but like his son is like a Republican, and then the daughter's getting married to a Republican, and they move to this town where it's like it's North Dakota, and they're like South Dakota and North Dakota are like separating, and it's like Republican versus Democrat, but they're like all like Republicans there, and it's like it's totally weird. I did not expect a musical to be so political. But yeah, like it's interesting.
And is Kurt Russell like stuck between both sides? Like
He's like the drummer in this band.
what is he like really young in this? Like as a kid?
Like probably like 13 around then. So it's like I'm getting to that. He was basically the replacement for. There's this guy. They called him Moochie. He was like one of the like the 50s generation like Mouseketeers, and he was like in Toby Tyler and Pollyanna and like every Disney movie, and he kind of like aged out and like became like I guess less cute. So then they basically brought Kurt, because Kurt Russell looks a lot like him, so they kind of like brought him in to like replace him. So it's interesting where like he's like this cute younger guy in his like teens, like early teens. So his career, of course, with Disney goes on for like a good decade. So I'll be in the Russell movies till the late 70s.
All right.
But yeah, so I've been doing those Disney movies. Going through like Doctor Who stuff still. At season 7 of the new series. And just finishing Torchwood right now, the final season, which is the American season that was on Starz, that everyone's complained about. Everyone's been like, it's so terrible. This last season is terrible. And I'm watching it. I actually think it's the best season since the first.
Okay.
And a lot of it, I think, has to do with the writing. Is what's her Jane I don't know how to pronounce her name, Espenion or whatever.
Okay.
She was a writer on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. She was a writer for like I think she did Gilmore Girls. She did The OC. She did a lot of like total solid shows. She was, I think, the showrunner on Dollhouse, Joss Whedon's show. And she also wrote a lot of the comics, the Buffy season, like that followed. I think the writing in this is great, and it's kind of surprising. Everyone's like, "It's terrible," and I absolutely hate Americanized British stuff, and I think it's fine.
Was the last season the one where nobody can die, basically?
Yeah,
the last season. Yeah, I remember watching that back in the day. It was pretty good. Yeah,
it's good. It's not even that different. I feel like it's a more of a return to what it was the first season.
Okay.
I thought the second and third seasons were like okay.
Okay.
But I'm surprised at how much I'm actually enjoying it. So yeah, just doing those. Just finished. I just finished One Day at a Time, the original series, and the new series. So I just finished that. So who knows where my binge will go next? But
so random, Matt. So random.
Exactly. So,
yeah, I actually recently was having a conversation with a friend about and for some reason the AFI's top 100 movies of all time list as published in 2008 came up, and I looked at the list and I realized I'd seen like 65 of them, and I was like, that's not too far from the whole thing. So I started to watch a bunch of classical movies, especially when I'm home with my parents. My mom still loves old movies, so we watch some of those together. I saw Something Like It Hot for the first time recently.
Oh, nice.
That's so great.
And it
Turner
happened
Classic
on-
Movies is a great channel for that
Yes.
stuff.
Oh, I used to DVR when I had cable. I used to DVR like I'd basically be like my at the time my wife used to get so mad at me because I was constantly DVRing old movies. It was like full of old movies.
Yeah.
Nice.
But,
Well, speaking of older movies, I'm actually sort of not binging, but I'm on an Albert Brooks kick right now.
so good.
Because I caught The Scout on Amazon Prime the other day, and I'm like, oh my god, I have missed this man's brilliance. He's just so funny. He's such a unique character actor. Like his sense of humor is so unique. I guess you can compare him to like a goofier Tom Hanks, but it started with The Scout, and then right now I'm in the middle of Lost in America, and probably going to follow that with Defending Your Life. Maybe
Life is
The
one of my
Muse.
It's so good.
What?
Yeah.
The Muse, 1999 was a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Defending Your Life is like, I mean, one of my all-time favorite movies. That one's incredible.
But yeah, he's so funny, so good. And in 2011, he showed a new side with his villainous turn in Drive.
Yeah.
He was terrifying in that.
Oh yeah.
And I think I'm just going to go through this man's entire filmography. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. So we've got 2 movie reviews tonight, as usual. The first one is called The Historian. And this is a strange little low-budget drama about a history professor who takes a new job. And basically it's about his relationships with fellow teachers, namely one played by William Sadler, who is an older teacher. He's kind of sour. He's pretty miserable and a little psychotic too. And basically it's about his relationship in this history department and how he's trying to navigate the waters, so to speak, and try to advance his career, not only in his work life, but also his love life. This was an okay movie. I went in thinking, I'm a really big William Sadler fan. So that's what was the main draw for me. That's what attracted me to this film. And he was fantastic as usual, but everything around him, all of the elements surrounding him were kind of lackluster. And, just wanted to talk a little bit about the movie. Dave, what did you think of The Historian?
Yeah, as I was saying right before we started today, I'm a fan of movies that sort of take place in the academic environment. I used to work in education a little bit, and especially in the field of helping people get into college. And so I've always kind of been fascinated dramatically about the kind of dynamics and power struggles that happen in the academic setting. So I was kind of excited about this, ahead of time, to see like kind of what they could do with that setting. And I kind of agree with you that at times it was a little slow. At times it didn't really do a lot. It really worked best, as you said, as a character drama, really around William Sadler, much more so than the other main characters. William Sadler was fantastic. I could not stop watching every second he was on the screen. And, speaking to him and his capabilities, I still can't believe, like, he's the guy who played Death in Bill and Ted's Excellent.
Wild Stallions!
Perfect.
To see him, like, to picture him playing Death in Bill and Ted's and then go into a role where he's like an older, curmudgeonly, highly intellectual, old school college professor who is, fed up with the ways of the youth these days in his department and, the kind of perceived lack of seriousness that students take. It's such a great different role for him. And then I think back again to Die Hard 2, and I'm like, oh, he's a badass soldier in that. I'm like, oh my God, this guy can literally do anything.
Oh yeah. I mean,
he's fantastically.
I just watched, I binged the entire Tales from the Crypt, including the movies. First episode, he's serial killer. He shows up like 5 times through the series, and then also in the movie, one of the 2 movies. And each role is so different. He's such a great, like, jack of all trades. Like
yeah.
Does he do Tai Chi in any of the Tales from the Crypt?
No, it's actually funny, that scene in the movie. I was like, does he really do Tai Chi, or did he do this just for the film? That's actually like what my breakdown was like interesting.
I actually wondered, the scene towards the end where he's doing a little bit of Tai Chi in the history.
Yeah.
Like, is this actually a throwback to Die Hard 2? Like, are they doing that on purpose? Or because it still fits with the character, kind of. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something he dusted it off after 30 years, threw it in the movie. It works. He's psychotic in this too. Well, not psychotic, but he's on the brink. And
that's what I found so interesting about it. Like, he wasn't just psychotic. I feel like you can't really lump him into a sort of, mental health diagnosis just based on that. Like, he seemed like a very smart, capable guy who was just buckling under the immense pressure of his outside life, from school, like taking care of his Alzheimer's-ridden dad, which, the way they portrayed those scenes was fantastic. Like what he had to go through and just put up with constantly in his home life, from his dad, who he clearly, through little hints here and there, who he clearly respected so much growing up and really looked up to, and to see him come to this. And just the way he translated those scenes with his dad into the way he interacted with students and the way he interacted with his colleagues, like, really was something special in this movie, I thought. That being said, all the rest kind of seemed about average. I thought Miles Doliak, even when he's trying to say the like softest, calmest, most non-dramatic things, he's just overacting kind of like crazy. And to his credit for writing and directing, I think he did a very good job of crafting a nice interpersonal drama here. I thought that was pretty good. Some of the character interactions kind of felt a little cliche to me, especially with the grad students and the other hot professor that he was getting with throughout the movie a little bit.
Which it was like, I'm like, oh, she's a professor. For like, there's a lot of characters where you can't really tell what their relationship is.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I just thought she was some lady. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
It's like they don't really like clarify it.
Yeah.
You have that one professor who's like Polly, not so sure.
Right.
Like, let's go play paintball. Like,
Fletcher was a interesting.
God.
What I will say though is, every time one of those characters came on screen for the first time, I thought, okay, I understand this character really quickly. And to the credit of Doliak as a writer, the characters had arcs. All of them kind of did. They did go somewhere throughout the movie. And so I still found myself enjoying the interpersonal drama. But if William Sadler didn't do what he did in this movie, I don't think I'd be praising it quite so much. He really carried the whole thing and really made it something way better than I think the sum of its parts.
Yeah, his performance is phenomenal in this. The one criticism I have, though, strong criticism, it was a little long in length. It was over 2 hours.
Over 2 hours.
And a movie of this type should have been maybe 140, 145, I'd say.
I definitely agree there. I thought the editing kind of was a little choppy at the beginning too, and that I feel like a lot of that could have been cut. A lot of that could have been simplified. I had a very hard time figuring out how much time had passed when he first started working at the college. Like, wait, is this the next day or is this 2 months later? I can't tell. Like, there's a lot of that, and I think that some of the uneven editing and little uneven directing there was kind of responsible for that. And I think it was apparently his first directorial. It was his directorial debut, so maybe he can tighten things up in future movies. But
maybe in the last 6 years he's done something else.
Yeah,
right, Matt. Like,
he was 6 years old.
This came out in 2014. Like, what the heck? I guess it had a limited release. I don't know what it had, a lukewarm reception, kind of like tonight, what we're saying now. So, and then it's actually released now on the streaming service Tubi, which I really had no idea what that was until tonight. Matt, you have a little insight into Tubi.
Yeah, it's definitely a great place to go if you're looking for like some rare 80s horror movie classics and stuff like that. That's what's mostly I've been on there for. And also they have like cartoons and stuff, because that's actually where I watched the Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Crypt Keeper. The cartoon was on Tubi TV actually. So
nice. From that's early 90s, right? That cartoon?
Yeah.
I remember they had action figures of the Crypt Keeper and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Good times.
I remember watching that on like HBO when I was like 13, being like, oh wow, this is like some scary shit. I still have fond memories of some of those.
Nice. But you know what, Dave? We touched on this before the show in terms of movies that deal with academia and that whole world of professors and their students and that whole kind of that whole world. I'm personally a huge fan of the Michael Douglas film Wonder Boys from 2000. I don't know if you guys are familiar. And I would say just skip the historian and pop in the Wonder Boys DVD. I think you're all set.
Yeah,
watch that or Dead Poet Society.
Yeah. Oh yes, please.
Yeah. If you watch either of those, you can kind of see why those were the good Hollywood releases, and this was, I guess, kind of a smaller indie release. Yeah. But I feel like they do have some things in common. I will say too, they especially Wonder Boys had a lot to say about sort of the difficulties of being a college professor. Things have changed a little bit, even kind of for the worse since that came out. And I thought that was addressed a little bit in The Historian, but it was more like they kind of had it happen and then just commented on, like, verbally. The characters spoke about how shitty it is of a world instead of actually trying to do anything about it. So it was more kind of like a framing device instead of a plot device. And I was like, I kind of would have liked to see them get into this a little more.
Yeah.
I understand why they wanted to keep it a character drama, and that's okay. But there was so much more they could have done in terms of power dynamics in the university world. As evidenced by the kind of naughty thing that happened in the end, where there was really no consequences for. That kind of made me angry. It's another case of a sort of white male.
Yeah, I feel it's like, these are things that definitely couldn't happen in this climate. It's like,
right, yeah.
Okay.
Instead of glossing over, they at least mentioned it and discussed it and how crappy it is, but still nothing was done about it. And it's just kind of like, there's sort of a missed opportunity there.
So Dave, you think that this film could have been a conduit for change in that respect?
Not quite that much. It could have at least been kind of a more relevant drama, I guess is the best way to put it.
Cool. Yeah. Agreed.
They could have had something more to do with the world that they set their film in instead of just the character drama.
It was a little super.
It's like a vice. It's just another vice.
Yeah.
All college professors need it.
So Matt, what is?
And whether it's true or not, it's common, or at least was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Matt, is this on your radar?
I mean, it's like one of those things. Even though Tubi is free, it's gonna be on. You can watch it on there.
Yep.
But there's ads, so you're looking at the 2 hours and 4 minutes turning into like a good 2.5 hours. I don't think this is worth it. Watch some other William Sadler classics.
Yeah, please.
But I mean, it wasn't bad. It's not a bad movie.
Right.
It's just not a great movie. It's a fine movie.
Yes. And unfortunately, that's what you get at Under the Radar most of the time. A lot of these mediocre films that we have high expectations for, but it did what it did. It was a serviceable. It was a serviceable film, and if you are a William Sadler completist, have at it. There you go. Dave,
it's better than Body Cam and whatever that other movie about the heist was.
That was pretty horrendous. Yeah, and you'll never let me live that down, Matt, will you? Dave, is this on your radar? It's hard to tell.
I kind of liked it. Yeah, I'd say see it if you're the kind of person who likes to just sit down with good characters and a glass of wine and enjoy a kind of sort of highbrow dialogue-driven movie. Also just keeping in mind that this is, Doliak's first, written and directed movie. I would see his next one. I'd be interested to see how he goes from here. I thought it was worth it enough, to see it for that reason. There was good potential here. I don't find myself disliking it enough to not recommend it. That was a lot of negatives in one sentence. say check it out. Yeah, if you have the time, since it will take a while.
You have the time.
Yeah. And Miles has had 6 years to perfect his craft, so maybe his next film will be better. I don't know. I hope. I fingers crossed on that one. Okay, so guys, we're going to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more film reviews right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending, interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Show. I'm your host, Randy Younger, and this is Under the Radar. And we are halfway done, guys. Halfway done. Second review. This film is so different from the first one. But you know what? I actually had the honor of seeing it at the Tribeca Film Festival last year. This film is called Goldie, and it is about a young woman, a teenager, who she lives in a shelter with her family. There's some legal issues with the mom, and she basically just does not want child services to snatch her two younger sisters away and put them in, with foster homes or what have you. And basically, she's just trying to get by, to protect her family, and at the same time, appear in a rapper's music video. She's motivated by this. She's almost obsessed by this, so much so that she idolizes this yellow mink coat or some kind of flowing yellow jacket. And she doesn't have enough money, so basically the whole movie is her trying to get money to finally buy this coat and appear in the music video and achieve stardom. And I mean, this was my favorite movie to come out of the Tribeca last year, just because it was so gritty. Felt like you were running the streets of Manhattan and the Bronx with this girl, and you were with her during the whole journey. It's a really beautifully shot film all over New York City, which I love any movie that does that. Huge fan of the city on film. And this movie, this was one of my favorites of the year. Guys, what did you think, Dave?
Yeah, I agree with a lot with what you said. It was very beautifully shot. I was kind of transfixed by it a lot. They did a lot of interesting kind of film things by animating the screen around the main character who was unanimated at all. So it wasn't like the rotoscoping techniques you saw in like a Scanner Darkly or something like that. It was just more of like a combination of kind of like light show animation around the character to kind of portray a mood. And I really, really loved the way they did that. I thought that really matched the character and her sort of naivete and motivations, and really, gave the movie a feeling that really carried you through it. Like a sort of, that it really kind of reflected her optimism underneath the hardship she was going through. Like, as long as I can just get to this music video and achieve stardom, everything will work out fine. And I felt like the way that they filmed it really kind of kept that feeling with you as the viewer as she was struggling to make it happen. I really love the way they do it. It was very unique. I, didn't know what to expect going into it. I didn't read anything about it before watching it, and I was, like I said, transfixed. It was very fun to watch, despite the hard story. It's a really interesting mix of sympathy for the character and fascination with what you're seeing in sort of an upbeat way. That mix really worked. I don't think that's easy to do at all, and I thought they did very well.
That's a word. Transfixed is a word we don't really hear often on the show. So yeah, I'm glad that I finally picked a movie that can elicit that kind of.
Well, this is something you had seen already,
right?
A year ago. So it was like you also had time to and you have the opportunity to have other people watch it and talk about it.
Yeah,
it's nice because it's something that stuck with you already.
Right.
So it's like you went into this knowing okay, I saw this and it was good. It's not just like, oh, they gave me a couple titles and decided to go for this one. It's something you knew, and it works. It's nice to see something like this.
Yeah, I didn't want to torture you guys today, so.
It reminded me, stylistically a lot of like the early Spike Lee films. Kind of like grit mixed with like fun. I mean, Do the Right Thing has a lot of that in it, which me and Randy were talking about the other night. But I mean, like, I love like every time a new character is introduced, they have like the animated title where it's that like little girl voice. It's like Randy.
Which I'm trying to think. There's a Spike Lee film that does that technique, right? Where he does the animation.
Yeah, I mean, it's very like his early stuff, like She's Gotta Have It and like School Days and they're all like within that like that style where it's kind of like the tone is like it's tonally different. It's like a mirror of like it's like dark but like happy. The optimism, Dave was saying, is like it's her optimism. She's like, I'm gonna get that coat. I'm gonna be in this video. I'm set. All I have to do is make it to then. And you kind of you feel that through the film, like, oh, it's like it's a positive thing, even though there's all these negatives. I mean, and it was I thought all the acting, like everyone in it was like pretty solid and pretty real. It was kind of the opposite of how I felt about most people in Historian, whereas I felt like a lot of them like were just like, hi, I'm an actor, and it's like, but like all the characters in this, like they felt like, I mean, a few of them, like, I mean, Danny Hawk, who played Frank, the stepfather figure, he's been in hundreds of movies, and he has a music career. The rapper in this, Tiny, is ASAP Ferg, who's
I was wondering how to pronounce his name. I saw his name listed on, and I was like, how do you say ASAP with a money sign? I mean, I guess I'm old.
There's
not as old as me, my friend.
You look good.
Oh.
they're like, out of all the trap rap stuff, like they're like the only ones I'm like really into. It's like A$AP Rocky, A$AP Ferg.
Okay.
But they're like, it's acted well, like
And I think that praise should be reserved mostly with Slick Woods, who stars in this film. And I'm reading about her now. She's actually a model. She's a fashion model, actress, known for her gap teeth and bald head tattoos. She modeled for Rihanna, Marc Jacobs, and she's only 23, but she's really doing well. And this film, like I said, it came out last year, so she was even younger. But I really want to see more of this actress. She's got that range, and some of the scenes with the sisters are just very emotional and very raw, and again gritty. This movie is just gritty all the way, and I'm really glad I got to review it on the show. So it's a fantastic film.
There were times where for several seconds there was just a single shot on her face, and she's just looking in one direction and not even moving, and it's perfect. You're not wondering like, why aren't they cutting? Why, like, what is going on? You know exactly what she's feeling. You know exactly why the camera is showing you what she's feeling, and it was incredibly well done. Like the personal journey she went through over the course of maybe 2 days worth of time within the film was astounding. It was really, really good. It was incredible. Yeah.
And it was only an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It was less. It was like an hour 20.
Yeah. And it's like, and it flew by. That's how you do it. Like, it didn't like, it wasn't like, it was like, in a positive way, it flew by. I wanted more.
I would love to switch the run times of the Historian.
I know, right?
It's frustrating.
Give this the 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Yeah. Definitely want to see her again. Trying to see her filmography. I don't think she's done much, though. Yeah, she's mostly modeling right now.
I read a review. The only review I read of Goldie after I saw the movie compared it to Requiem for a Dream in terms of its sort of goal there. I thought that was a very appropriate comparison, though Requiem for a Dream will give you nightmares a lot more than this will. But even the parallels where, Goldie was trying to get that gold coat and Ellen Burstyn and Requiem for a Dream trying to get the red dress. It was a very kind of similar, like, symbolic goal of success that was kind of disillusioned throughout the whole thing. That arc was it was done so touchingly in Gold. I really, really loved it. Whereas in Requiem for a Dream, it'll make you go huddle and cry in the corner. Here, it'll make you like just root for this character and understand the decisions she made by the end and still root for her afterwards. I thought it was very good.
In a movie this intense, you need moments of levity, obviously, and so there is a lot of humor laced throughout this. I wouldn't say it's a tragic tale, but it's bittersweet. And this girl, she goes through a lot. And like you said, Dave, that there's some shots of her just close up, just like reacting to stuff, as opposed to the Historian where they just talk about it and you don't even like feel that rawness and that emotion. So Goldie really, it's a great film overall.
Yeah, it's interesting you made that comparison too. Right before we started filming today, and I was chatting with my roommate about the two movies, I said to him that the two movies actually kind of gain a little more interest if you look at them together. Like I found that kind of interesting. Like the Historian and Goldie are totally different movies, completely different stylistically, about completely different people from completely different walks of life. Right. But I thought a lot of the characterizations in them were kind of interesting when put back to back. Like because of the different walks of life, because of the different challenges, like sort of highbrow, liberal arts professors versus just a teenager on the streets in the Bronx. And just the difference in the kinds of conflicts those kinds of characters go through, I thought was on display if you watch them back to back. I watched them within 24 hours of each other, so it was fresh in my mind still. It was interesting that way.
And it's interesting that you said that, because usually on the show we take two films and we don't really intersect them or compare them really to each other. They're just kind of their own entities, one entity here, another here. But it's interesting to just kind of just compare them and really dive deep into both films and what one may offer the other and vice versa.
I can't stop thinking about them like together as almost like just a back-to-back experience. It's very interesting.
It was totally chance, by the way. These were just two available movies. They have new releases, and it just kind of happened that way. So I'm kind of glad it did.
And like you'd never think to put these two movies together in another context. They're so different from one another, but I found it worked in some strange way. It's kind of cool. Good
to know, sir. Good to know. All right. So I think it's safe to say this is on all our radars.
Yeah. Check it out. You'll never see anything else like it, probably.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to also give a shout out to another streaming service. It's a website, actually. It's Ovid.tv, and it's a great streaming service that currently features some really fantastic films, including but not limited to dramas, mostly. Dramas known as Kisses, L'Attesa, it's Italian, Polina, Terribly Happy, The Observer, Spark, and Robert Kramer's 1989 documentary, Route 1 USA, which will join his other films on the website, Ice and Milestones. So basically, these films join over 15 others already in the Ovid collection. So just go to ovid.tv and check out their subscription options. And you'd be surprised. You find some really powerful quality cinema there. So ovid.tv, ovid.tv. Okay. So now it's your turn, guys. Anything you want to plug? Any mentions? Anything going on?
After you, Matt.
Saturday night, if you're on the on the Facebook, go find the Cult Cafe, Not So Secret Society page. It's where we do our weekly TV parties. Where we're doing Trouble Man this weekend. So that's a classic blaxploitation film. Fantastic Marvin Gaye soundtrack. So that's this Saturday night. 10-ish, usually like 9:50 we start. and join in. We got a little. It's like a chat room going on while you watch a movie. It's fun. And then hopefully one day I'll be bringing movies to people in real life.
Ooh. We all hope that, Matt. We all hope that. Dave, anything going on you want to mention?
Not really. I've been toying with the idea of creating a Medium publication, just throwing some movie reviews up online, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So as of yet, nothing concrete to plug. But if I do make that happen, I'll certainly let you know. Maybe you do a sort of, retroactive plug from you one day. But
okay. I look forward to that. That'd be great. And also, I forgot to mention our wonderful sponsor, Magnitude Jewelry. With orders over $75, Magnitude offers free shipping, an N95 mask, and hand sanitizer. So just go to tudegirl.com, Tude girl.com, and check out that special offer. Also, Magnitude will be doing a live event at the Psychic Fair at Syosset Comfort Inn on July 12th. So stay tuned for that. And guys, this was wonderful as always. I want to thank you so much for your time. It's great. And you're always welcome. Dave, I don't think you know about my upcoming movie commentaries. We've got some stuff going on, kind of like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type of vibe to it.
Nice.
Sprinkled with some movie trivia. We're still perfecting it. But you guys and everybody watching will, we'll keep you tuned in on that. So, guys, again, thank you so much. This was wonderful. Just stay safe, healthy, you and your families. And I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much. I'm Randy Younger. This has been Under the Radar. Thanks for watching.